Hello viewers, welcome to Beyond the Shift Talk Show. I am your host, Grace Wanjohi. Today we are going to discuss a concept known as compassion fatigue. It is credited to Charles Figley, 1995. Remember in our last talk show, we talked about compassion and empathy. So we are going to see what a lack of it is. Compassion fatigue is a gradual lessening in compassion and empathy. Like we said, this is a talk show for people in helping professions. So these are the people at risk. Why are they at risk? Because their work involves emotional engagement. So when it lacks, gradually there is a lessening of that compassion and empathy. So literally it is a lack of compassion and a lack of empathy. So what causes compassion fatigue? Compassion fatigue is caused by prolonged exposure to people in suffering. And this is what happens to people in caregiving professions. Another cause is continuous caregiving responsibility. Another cause is lack of self-care. After you have given so much care, after you have witnessed so much trauma, then you fail to take care of yourself, you are likely to suffer from compassion fatigue. So what is the emotional impact of compassion fatigue? The emotional impact of compassion fatigue includes difficulty in empathy. From the word fatigue, it's like you're tired of giving compassion. So there is difficulty in empathizing with your patients and with the clients. So that is one of the emotional impacts of compassion fatigue. Number two, there is detachment from people in need. You don't want to be around a place where you are needed by your clients, by your patients. You feel that alienation from your place of work. Another emotional impact is guilt for being unavailable. As much as you want to be there for the client, you feel that detachment. And once you realize you are drifting away from where you're supposed to be, now you become guilty because you know you are needed in that area. So those are some of the major impacts of compassion fatigue. What are the behavioral symptoms of compassion fatigue? One of the behavioral symptoms is isolation, loss of social interest. That is, you do not want to be around people. You want to be around yourself because you have cared too much, you have given too much. You feel like you just want to be alone. You don't want to be around people. That way you detach yourself, find yourself, you want solitude, you want to close yourself in. The places you love to go to, you stop going to those places, you stop engaging with people at the social level. That is one way someone in a helping profession can know, I might be suffering from compassion fatigue. Number two, adoption of negative coping behaviors. These include, but are not limited to, substance use, wrong use of technology. Those are some of the behaviors that will tell you, I am not okay. When you start abusing substances, maybe to cope with the feelings or the emotions you have not dealt with, addressed, resulting from your workplace, the daily traumas, in the psychology field, in the medical field, if you are not dealing with them, you're going to look for a way to cope with that, those feelings that come, the psychological distress associated with caregiving. So another behavior is hypervigilance. Hypervigilance means being on the alert mode. Our body makeup is such that we should relax, especially at night when we are done with our work. But now this person with compassion fatigue, they don't relax. Their nervous system is always charged. They feel like they are threats, they are impending threats. So they are always charged, feeling like they are not okay, they are not able to relax. That is what hypervigilance means. Always on the alert mode. Like you know there's something coming and you are waiting for it. So those are some of the behavioral symptoms of compassion fatigue. So what are the physical symptoms of compassion fatigue? These are stress-related symptoms, and they include headaches, abdominal upsets or stomach upsets, disrupted sleep, chronic tiredness, anxiety, and generally feeling you are not okay, you are not well. Sometimes you may not be able to tell the problem you're having or where you're suffering from, but you don't feel okay. So these are some of the physical symptoms of compassion fatigue. So what can we do to prevent compassion fatigue? As people in helping professions, we need to have a self-care plan first. Make self-care a priority in your life, because as long as you are engaging with the emotions of your patients or your clients, the compassion fatigue will come. Because as we have said in the courses, it is prolonged exposure. If you've been in the profession for more than 5 years, 10 years, prolonged exposure to people in suffering, continuous caregiving responsibility. So if you do not have a self-care plan, this compassion fatigue will come. So as a remedy, the first thing is having a self-care plan. How do you take care of yourself after a hard day at work, after being in an emotionally charged environment? How do you take care of yourself? How do you deal with those emotions? How do you deal with those pictures that you saw during the day, so that by tomorrow as you go to work, you have dealt with your emotions and you are ready to bounce back and work. In a later talk show, we are going to address the area of self-care. For today, I'll just mention it, and then we shall delve into it later. Number 2, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a form of self-care where you stay in the present. You become aware of what is happening to you, and you do this without judgment. Be aware of your feelings. How are you feeling? Do not judge those feelings. Allow yourself to feel everything without feeling guilty, without feeling self-judgment. Be present. Being present in the moment. If I could give an example, you could sit in a room and with the use of the 5 senses, try to look around, using sight, look around, see what you can see. Again, you can use your ears to listen. You can use your hands for touch. So that takes away. Remember, we said the person has hypervigilance, is feeling anxious and feeling threatened. So what mindfulness does is brings you back to the present. It stops you from worrying about yesterday, stops you from worrying about tomorrow, and brings you to the present moment, allowing you to feel what you're feeling and without judging those feelings. Number 3, get social support. You need people around you, your family, your peers, your neighbors. You need people around you to interact with. We are social beings, so that even as they notice there's a problem, they can be able to alert you. There are also people you can talk to. Tell them, today I had a hard day at work. I would like to take a rest. I'd like to take a walk. Would you accompany me? Would you listen to me? So that is social support. And social support has been identified as one of the most important for people in helping professions. That is one of the most important support. That is social support, having people around you. Another way you can prevent or deal with compassion fatigue is by setting boundaries. Do not be a person who can always be called upon to go everywhere and with anyone. Set boundaries around yourself so that you are able to have some time for yourself, some me time after work, to relate with yourself, to have an intrapersonal conversation about how the day was, what you're feeling, what is happening to me. Being present with yourself. So what boundaries do, they prevent you from, like people in the healthcare profession, avoid taking extra shifts. Avoid over-helping. Because the more you help, remember the environment you are in. You are being exposed to people in suffering. You are being exposed to continuous caregiving responsibility. So one of the ways you can set boundaries around your work is by not taking extra shifts. I know times are hard, we're looking for money, but just do what your body allows you, and just do what helps you to remain healthy. So if you are not okay with maybe people are going out, maybe your family needs to go to a certain place, and you don't feel okay, just tell them, I cannot accompany you at this time. I'm not feeling okay. I don't have that energy. Say it politely and they will understand. So set boundaries around yourself. It is related to the next bullet that says you will limit exposure when you can. Do not hang around your workplace if you don't need to be there, so that you have enough time to recharge for the next shift, for the next client. So limit exposure when you can. Don't be around places that can emotionally charge you if you can't be able to avoid it. So this is also related to work-life balance. Being at work when you're supposed to be at work, and being away and doing other things when you're supposed to be away from work. And finally, if all this fail, find mental health support. This is counseling, psychiatric help, in case you feel that detachment, that difficulty in empathy, feeling like you are not the same person you were when you started your career. So there is help available in mental health. So this is compassion fatigue. This is what it can do to an individual, and that is how we can prevent or recover from it. So I thank you so much. Since people have started subscribing to my channel, I encourage you to continue sharing so that we can grow as a community and learn from each other. And until the next talk show, I have been your host, Grace Wanjohi. Thank you and bye-bye.